Let me apologize. I hope I am audible to everyone. There was a mandatory check that I should have done. If please confirm that you can hear me clearly. Type a yes. That should be great. Good enough for me. Great. Thanks, Nisha. Thanks, Kshitij. Thanks, Sushant. Yes, quite a few coming in now. So at least I'm sure about this part. Thank you very much. So Satya will be joining us in a little while. Both Satya and I am, both of us, Satya and me, we are from IIM Bangalore, 1993 batch, which is a couple of generations ago. But since we have been in touch, we will be able to, we'll try to see how best we can take care of your doubts or queries. Whatever your queries are, you can either put them in the chat box or the Q&A box. The simple request, please type it only once. I will take up all your queries, but if you type or put in your query not 1 but 3, 4 times, that takes the space and that makes it difficult for us to identify which is a repeat query and which is not. So to ensure we don't waste your time, please type your query only once. It will be answered sometime during the session, so don't be worried on that aspect. Okay? So we'll quickly start. Satya, as I said, will join us in a little while. In the meanwhile, Rahul from Kozhikode, Siddharth from Bangalore, from Ahmedabad, Vivek Gupta from Bangalore, and I are there to take your all your requirements. Okay? This session at this point of time will be anchored by Rahul. Okay. Okay. So Rahul, why don't you take up from here? You can start the session from here, and whenever you need to change the slide, do let me know. Over to you, Rahul.
Hello, good evening everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. As you can see, our agenda today is we will first of all be talking about the forms for the second stage process for Ahmedabad and Bangalore. Primarily, we will be talking about the IIM form and the question over there, because we have already had a session for the IIM Bangalore form. This is uploaded in your SIS account, so you can go through that session there. This session has already been conducted, so we won't be focusing so much on Bangalore today. Now, we will also be looking at the general experiences of some of the candidates from last year's process, and if there is any change for the IIM Ahmedabad and Bangalore process for this year, we will also be discussing those possibilities over here. So this will be our agenda for today. Now, when we look at the IIM Ahmedabad form, over here, there is one very unique question that they have given. The question is that in about 150 words, the candidate needs to describe what, according to the candidate, is the most important quality that any citizen of India must possess, and how should this quality be inculcated in the children and youth of our country. Now, this question, the candidates have to write down the answer to this question, and they have to carry that sheet with them to their interviews. They have to carry this sheet with them to the interview and show it to the panel over there. So, if you look at this question, first of all, it talks about the most important quality that any citizen of India must possess. So, it is not just asking about what is the most important quality that a particular candidate himself or herself has, or which they feel is their most important asset. Rather, this is asking about the most important quality that any citizen of the country should possess. So, it is asking very specifically about the value system of a candidate. What are the different qualities that a candidate thinks people should have, and among them, in general, what is the quality that the candidate feels is most important for all citizens of the country, therefore, for all members of a society. So, this is what the question is specifically asking you about. When we talk about the answer to a question like this, just as for any essay type question, the answer should have a great deal of logic. There should be very strong justification for whatever a candidate is saying. Since the word limit here is only 150 words, there is not too much space to write anything. Therefore, a candidate also needs to be very focused in what they are writing. The answer, therefore, cannot sort of an answer, the candidate has to come to the point straight away. Therefore, the most appropriate way for answering this question would be to start with the value that the candidate feels is the most important one for every citizen of the country. Once that value is mentioned, in brief, the candidate must explain the role of that value, what is the consequence of possessing that value, how it will help individuals, how it will help the society. Maybe you can also talk about how in the work environment or in the country's political environment, such a value can be a big asset and can bring about some necessary benefits. The last part of the answer then must talk about the must talk about how the value can be inculcated in the citizens of the country, particularly the children and the youth. So first of all, you should present the value that you feel is the most important one. Next, the benefits of the value, that is the justification as to why that value is the most important quality for all citizens of the country. Simply talking about any particular value, as I said, here you are not required to talk about any and all values that you have or which value you feel is your most important quality. Rather, you have to understand all the different values which are possible, and then you need to identify which would be the most important one for our country, for our society, and therefore which every citizen should have. Since the word limit is quite short, here you cannot talk about all the important values. You should directly address the issue of the most important quality. Then explain the benefits that will come if that value is present in every citizen of the country. And then the implementation part, you can talk about how this quality can be inculcated in the children and youth of our country. The implementation part here becomes very important because sometimes people tend to give answers which may be very fascinating, very interesting, but which may not be very practical. For example, if someone talks about honesty, then again, questions regarding honesty versus practicality can come into the picture. Such cross-questioning can happen and can derail a candidate's answer very easily. So the implementation part becomes very important because this ensures that a candidate's answers are realistic, are practical. Further, please note that you have to take this answer with you and give it to the panel in your interview. So it is most likely that there will be questions regarding the answers that a candidate has given over here. So the answer has to be very, very logical, and the candidate must be prepared for cross-questioning on that. Whatever value you are talking about, first of all, think about the major values that a candidate should possess, that any person should possess. Then identify which value you are going to talk about, why, what are the benefits that value is going to provide. Also think about what benefits some of the other values may provide. Because here you are talking about which is the most important value that any citizen should have or all citizens should have. This straight away means that you are saying other values are not as important as this one. Such a question may come in your interview, and hence it becomes very important that you should be prepared to justify your stand that this is the most important value. The benefits that come from this value are the greatest, are more important than the benefits that may accrue from other values. And then the practicality issue, of course, that justification has to be there. If I say that integrity is very important, how can I implement that? Is this, whatever I am talking about, is that merely a daydream of mine, or can I visualize a concrete approach towards ensuring that this value can be inculcated, and thereby can my suggestion, can my point be actually implemented? That justification has to be there as well. So this is all about the IIM Ahmedabad question.
Rahul, I just had a couple of things to say on this. While Rahul has covered practically everything which is required, I think you need to break this question into two parts. One, what are you going to write? This is what you are going to write. Yes. As Rahul has said, you have to talk about which value you have chosen, why this value you have chosen, what are the benefits of this value, why is it so important that it should be inculcated in everyone, And finally, how to inculcate or how to implement your ideas, okay, or it has to be practical. Now this is what you are going to write and give. But before you write this, you sit down to write this, okay, as Rahul said, can you look at what are the values you can think of? What are those values? V1, V2, V3. What are those 3, 4, 5 values which is seen are important? Now for each of those values, let's say you pick up 3. For each of these values, what are the benefits? Why is it important? What are the benefits which the nation as a whole will have because of those values? So can you write down the benefits of each one of them? And finally, how to implement each one of them also. Okay? So what I'm asking you to do is, while the question is asking you to focus on a value, I'm saying, can you do it for 3 of them? The reason I'm saying, asking you to do it for 3 of them is, because as Rahul said, in the interview, you will be asked not only about this value, but why did you choose this value? Why is this value which you have chosen, why is this the most important? Which were the other values you considered can also be a question. Between the 2 values, let's say gender equality and integrity, let's say these are the 2 values which you have chosen. And between the 2 you have chosen, let me assume, gender equality. Now why is it that gender equality is a more important value and why should it be the first one for you is within a question? So please don't consider this question as based on a value. This requires you to go deeper and say, okay, what are those top 3 values which are there for me? So first thing I want you to do is top 3 values. Identify the top 3 values from your point of view. It can be anything. I'm not worried about which, that you need to have this kind of value. I'm not looking at that. Whichever are the values you think are important from your point of view are the ones you should be talking about. Okay? And once you say these are the top 3 values which I think, for each of those, as I said, what are the benefits, why these 3 values are important, why these are important becomes there, and then how to implement it. Now when you have done this thing, and you have done a comparative analysis, then you start writing down the answer. Now when you go for the interview, this answer will be there, they will have discussion on the answer, and then that is the time when they will be discussing the other 2 values or other 1 value also, which one you think was important. So please make sure you don't restrict yourself to a value, make sure you go 2 or 3 values, there should be 3, minimum 2. Okay? So prepare for 3, pick up the one which is most important for you, write an essay on that basis. Remember, it is only 150 words. 150 words means, as Rahul said, you have to be precise to the point. You cannot create a Hindi or a Bollywood movie out of it. It has to be very, very focused so that you are able to convey to the panel what exactly you are thinking and don't waste too much time. Okay? So please make sure you don't miss out on this. If there are any questions at this point of time, we have not got any question on this question, but if there are, you could type them now. Okay, so we are not getting any questions on this on the IMA essay. Also, since there is sufficient time for this, my request or suggestion again is please get it checked by a faculty. Write and get it checked. And if you have a mock interview with us, please make sure you take this write-up in the mock interview also so that it can be questioned. So the mock interview. So you get it checked with the faculty, you take it to the mock interview so that you can be questioned on that. Then we are very sure that we have covered all bases as far as this question is concerned. Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Then since there are no question on this item, okay. So the next one, Rahul, over to you. Now we are to IMB form.
Sure, sir. The IMB form, this is the question that they have given. Again, there is only one question, but here they have asked for a statement of purpose. They have asked each candidate to prepare a short essay of 600 words on themselves in the space provided below. Now, over here, they have talked about, you may wish to talk about your background, significant events, etc., experience at workplace, extracurricular activities, career plans, how the postgraduate program in management from IMB fits into your dreams and ambitions. Please make sure that your essay forms a coherent whole. So here, they have given each candidate a very broad scope to cover the most important areas that a candidate himself wishes to highlight. This again from an interview perspective, this becomes very important because it gives a candidate the opportunity to identify their own strong areas that they can possibly connect to MBA, and they can then talk about these in their essay. As far as the detailed discussion of this question is concerned, as we discussed, we have already held a session for this, and this session is available in your SIS account. So you can go through that session there. There we have discussed this question in far greater detail.
Yes, Rahul, let me just add a couple of words to what you have said. Just a couple of things. As Rahul has said, I definitely want you to go to your SIS. We have a IIMB and Shillong and Bangalore and Shillong session which we conducted a few days ago. Please go through it, that will explain it to you. The good thing was IIM Shillong form is a breakup of these questions. So if this question is broken up into 5 small questions, that is what IIM Shillong form was. So you need to go through the IIM Shillong process and then come to the IIMB process, and you will be able to do it well. But very, very strictly, this is essentially saying what are your strong areas, what are your fortunes, what are your goals, what is your ambition, okay? And how will MBA help you achieve your ambition. So again, if you remember, how will, those of you who attended the interview concept session, is basically the last part is how is MBA important for you to achieve your goals. So, career goals. Okay. So please make sure you go through this. Again, to repeat what I talked about, I am Ahmedabad. Please make sure you have, after you have written it, you get a check from a faculty, and when you go for a mock interview, please make sure you take a write-up of this. Unlike the Ahmedabad, this is giving you 600 words, or this will create a problem of another kind, that you need to make sure you are able to explain yourself fully. But make sure here also you are by and large deciding to the point, and do not just write or use words for the sake of filling up 600 words. Okay? Even if it is 450 or 500 words, it's not an issue. 600 words is the maximum. Even 400, 450, 500 is perfectly fine as far as okay. Okay, let me just see. There are a couple of questions. Okay. Shashank has a question on the IIM Ahmedabad form. How do I write the implementation part? There would also be practicality issues with honesty or integrity values. Shashank, I don't think that practicality always issues would be there for honesty or integrity values. I'm just going back to the Ahmedabad form because the question pertains to Ahmedabad. The question is how should it be inculcated in the children? Okay? So how do you ensure that children become honest or integrity is important for them so that when they grow up, you don't have to worry about it. Today we talk about it with, for example, honesty and integrity. It is generally assumed, rightly or wrongly, that most of the politicians are not honest. Most of our representatives are not honest. This is a general assumption of a man on the street. Now, if that image has to change, obviously it needs everyone to be an honest person. So for that, what should you be doing now so that the next generation does not carry the stigma which the next generation carries? So we're not saying that there is practicality issue. When there's practicality issue, it should be something which you should be able to implement in schools and colleges. It should be something which should be able to ensure that the children follow the integrity or the honesty or whichever value you talk about. Okay. So what are the steps you should take now so that in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the value which you think is important becomes the value of a nation as a whole and does not remain restricted to a few people. Okay. So that is what we mean out here. So when you say honesty or integrity, there will be practicality issues. There will be implementation. To me, there is practicality. To me, there will be implementation issues are there for every value. Even anything you have to do, implementation is important. If you have a great fanciful idea, but it cannot be implemented, then that idea has got no value. Okay. So to ensure that it can be implemented is what is something you have to look at. What are those 3 things you will do to ensure that these are implemented? For example, if I take a very, very different example, NDTV is running a Mask for Sport campaign. Okay. Now what they are saying is if sports has to be given due importance, then they should be marked for it. Because till the time there are marks attached to sports for achievement in school or college or wherever, till their parents are not going to ensure their children participate in sports, so start giving marks. So this is a practical solution that give marks, people will play, or parents will allow their children to play. So this is what we mean. Can it be implemented or it will remain an idea only? So whatever you say, here you don't have an issue, here you don't have an issue, but here it should not remain an idea. Whatever you do should be implementable. So what is the scheme or technique you will use to ensure this happens? Okay. Mayank has another question. Certain values are inculcated in those of people. It is done to childhood. Absolutely right, Mayank, but some of the things can be implemented by, let's say, penal action also. For example, if the challan for since my childhood or even now, let me assume a person is habituated to jumping red light would not follow traffic rules. If the challan is 100 rupees, I will not have a problem. But if the challan for jumping a red light is 5,000 rupees, maybe that penal action is a good enough way to inculcate it even in those of people. So there has to be both possibly a carrot, which is a reward, and the stick, which is a punishment. So maybe for this question, on the implementation part, can you look at a carrot as well as a stick both? And in any case, I will say very strong, very likely that in childhood, what do I inculcate so that a child who is growing up now does not have the same negative values which some of us are carrying with us. So please ensure that you have a carrot as a stick possibly, and for the grown up or for the adults, and for the children, yes, what are the things you will do to ensure that in school, in their study, in their day-to-day activity, they are able to pick it up. I hope, friends, that has taken care of your answer, your doubt that is. Okay. Let me see if there are any other questions. Okay, Rahul, I don't see any other questions. Rahul, would you like to add anything more to the IM8 form which I have taken, the questions which I took up right now?
No, sir. Thanks.
Great. So let's move on to the second one then. IM8 form we have taken care of. I don't think there are any questions. Thanks, man. I've got your thing. Okay. So let us just quickly move on to. Okay, there's another question from Pinaki. Pinaki is asking, in the IM8 question, should the language of the answer be plain and simple or academic in nature? Pinaki, I have a bias towards simple language. I am not very fond of big words. I think it should be, and in any case, in trying to make your essay thoroughly, you will waste a lot of words. So, especially I am Ahmedabad, keep it simple, keep it to the point. Academic, I'm not sure what you mean by academic per se, but to me it is important that it is implementable. Okay. Whatever values and things that you talk about, they are practical, you are able to justify why it is important. And the practicality of implementation is what I would be looking at more than anything else. Okay. Rahul, over to you for the next slide now. Okay, so let's, these are standard things, I'm sure all of you know it, but Rahul, anything you would want to add to this?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I don't think we need to discuss this one. Let's just leave it here. I'm sure all of you know this. This is just to ensure you don't forget it. Okay, Rahul, over to you for the next part now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. When we look at the processes that Ahmedabad and Bangalore have for their second stage, over here, last year, that is for the batch from 2012 to 2014, both of these IIMs had a writing ability test as well as a personal interview. The writing ability test consisted of topic that was quite general in nature. It was either a current affairs issue or a social issue, and candidates had to write a brief essay on that. In the IIM Ahmedabad process, candidates were given 1 minute time to think about the topic and 10 minutes time to write the essay on the topic. For IIM Bangalore, on the other hand, candidates were given 10 minutes time to think about the topic and 20 minutes time to write the essay on this topic. Now, till last year, as we discussed, both Ahmedabad as well as Bangalore had included this writing ability task and as well as the personal interview in their second stage process. For this year, IIM Bangalore in their notification had clearly specified that they will have a writing ability task for all participants, all candidates who appear for the second stage process. IIM Ahmedabad, on the other hand, has not clearly mentioned that they have a writing ability task in their notification. They have only talked about a personal interview. But it is expected that they are likely to have a writing task this year as well, because they have not mentioned any break from the previous year's pattern. So this is as far as the IIM Ahmedabad and Bangalore processes for the second stage is concerned. Now let us look at the IIM Ahmedabad process and what happened there last year in greater detail. First of all, when we look at IIM Ahmedabad, over here, each of the candidates were interviewed by 2-member panels, and IIM Ahmedabad interview last year, they had a very clear-cut structure. Candidates with prior work ex were asked detailed questions pertaining to their work experience. Here, questions like all of the businesses that their company was involved in, how the candidates' work related to the business, added to the business of the company, which were the different markets that company was operating in, which were the different markets for its different businesses, who were the major competitors in each of those businesses, what was the company's strengths and weaknesses vis-a-vis the competitors. So very in-depth questions regarding the businesses of the company was asked about. In some cases, candidates were even asked about general industry trends. Candidates were even asked about government policies which are likely to impact their industry or which already are in place and already impact their company's businesses. So very, very in-depth questions regarding the candidate's work profile and their company was asked. This was in the case of candidates with prior work experience. On the other hand, those candidates who had no work experience, they were generally asked questions related to their own academic background, questions related to their subjects during graduation. For both both types of candidates with prior work experience and candidates who were freshers, for both of these, there were practically no questions from areas like general knowledge, current affairs, etc. Almost no questions from goals, extracurricular activities, hobbies, almost no questions from these areas. Mostly for candidates with prior work experience, almost the entire interview consisted of questions related to their work, their company, their industry only. And similarly, for candidates without work experience, almost the entire interview focused or revolved around questions related to their subjects during graduation alone. Next slide.
Second, I think those of you have attended the interview consultation. Now, this is one part that we have been harping on again and again. Please make sure this you do very well. This is an area which is normally ignored by most of us who are working. While we know our role, we don't have sufficient knowledge of our company, all our competitors or the industry. And as Rahul pointed out, the government policies which impact your company or your industry is extremely important. So those of you who are in let's say, IT, you should be able to understand how will devaluation or appreciation of rupee impact your company. Okay, and what are those government policies which are increasing or accelerating, which are increasing growth of your company or the industry, or which can help your company grow. Okay, so what are they? So please make sure this part is not neglected. This is normally neglected by most. This is where you need to work the most. Okay? If someone of you is working in let's say retail industry or the telecom industry, make sure you know about each of these the competitors, the industry, the policy. I think these are the ones which have to be definitely looked at. And those of you who are freshers in the final year or just passed out and no work experience, graduation subjects, as we have been talking every time, are extremely important. Don't ignore them. Go through your fundamentals all over again and go through your projects which you would have studied done in your engineering or in your graduation, any internship. These are the important parts. Please make sure you do not miss out on it. Okay. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, sir. There was one interesting aspect to our Ahmedabad interviews last year, which was that over here, they had the panels had asked practically all of the candidates some questions from higher mathematics. Questions on areas like statistics, distribution curves, again related to statistics, calculus, probability, three-dimensional geometry. Such questions, a few such questions were asked from practically all of the candidates. Year before last, IIM Bangalore had started this trend. They had done this with all the candidates. Last year, IIM Bangalore had not done this, but IIM Ahmedabad had done this last year. This was one rather unique feature of the IIM Ahmedabad interview last year. Now, moving on to the writing assessment, the writing ability test. Over here, as we have already discussed, candidates were given 1 minute time to think about the topic, 10 minutes time to write on the topic. The topics were given were very general in nature, and all of the candidates in one slot for one panel would get the same topic, were given the same topic. The topics given, as we discussed, they were very general in nature, topics which were related to current affairs or social issues. Such were the topics given. A list of some of the topics which had appeared last year is given over here. Is it possible to do business with honesty and ethics? Everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. How social are social networks? Of all the interventions and inventions, sorry, it should be inventions. Of all the inventions and discoveries in the world, which one would you have liked to do? These were some of the topics which had appeared last year. So,
if you notice, these are your typical GD topics. So what you are given here is what you can expect in a group discussion also. So those of you who are preparing for group discussions please remember, WAC and GD topics are very similar. The difference obviously is one you have to speak, the other you have to write, and obviously your basic essay writing techniques etc. become helpful. But from a knowledge perspective, whatever you do for GD has to be done well also. Yeah, you can continue and go to the next slide.
So, thank you. If we look at the IIM Bangalore process for last year, it was somewhat different from the IIM Ahmedabad process. First of all, there were 3 members in the panels which interviewed the candidates. 2 of the panelists were typically professors, while one of them was an alumnus of the institute. And the IIM Bangalore interviews were largely very general in nature. Candidates were asked questions pertaining to various aspects of their CV and SOP. Mostly very in-depth questions regarding work profile or very in-depth questions regarding academic background were not asked. Mostly the interviews focused on goals, extracurricular activities, hobbies, etc. Strengths, weaknesses of candidates, there were questions regarding these as well. Some of the candidates were even asked about current developments involving their company or their area of work, while some candidates were asked questions about things like their hometown or the town where they had been studying, working, and so on. So, our Bangalore interviews last year had been very general in nature, and here the panelists, 2 of the panelists were professors, while one was an alumnus of the institute, as we have already. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Just taking a look at a few of the questions. Kshitij has asked, I have a family business, so what's important in my case? I'm assuming Kshitij is refers to my Ahmedabad, because Ahmedabad had a clear demarcation of work and this. Kshitij, if you're in the final year, still I would say your academics has a greater level of importance than your business. But anyone belonging to family business, you have to make sure you know something about it. But if you have been working for the last 1 or 2 years in your family business, then obviously that is your work, that becomes more important than your academics. So whatever you have been doing in the last 1 year or so, out of your family business and your working and your, let's say, the academics, that becomes more important, whatever you have been doing over the last 1 year or so. Okay. Kshitij, again requesting you, please put in your query only once. Okay. Yeah, Rahul, you can continue from here. Rahul, over to you.
So, typically, as we were discussing, candidates who appeared for the IIM Bangalore process, they were asked a few questions on their interviews, while for almost all of the candidates were asked at least a few questions on the basis of their SOP, while for some of the candidates, their entire interview had comprised questions pertaining to whatever the candidate had written in the SOP itself. So, the SOP was very important for the IIM Bangalore process. As opposed to the Ahmedabad process. As we have already discussed, for the Ahmedabad process, candidates could be categorized safely into two parts. Those who already had work experience, their interviews focus more on work ex, whereas here, for almost all of the candidates, the interview focused primarily around the statement of purpose of the candidates. And the last year process, again at IIM Bangalore, here also the process had included a writing ability task. And here, candidates were allotted 10 minutes time to think about the topic, 20 minutes time to write on the topic. The topics again were quite general in nature and typically required an analysis of everyday issues, general issues, social issues. Now, the topics that have appeared, they are given over here. A strong opposition party is required for good governance. Individuals are bound by various norms and cannot be truly free, even in a democracy. Social networks like Facebook are addictive and detrimental to society. The young today get so much too easily and in a short period of time, and that is detrimental to their future. These were some of the topics which had appeared in the IIM Bangalore writing ability test last year. One question which has come up is, in these topics, can we take a stand for and against the statement, or we must agree to what is given? See, first of all, just as in a group discussion, there is no hard and fast rule in an essay that you need to take any particular stand. You can choose to take a neutral stand, even you can choose to take an unbiased, an objective stand. Further, whereas in a group discussion, you need to persuade the other party of your views, so a little bit, some element of debating can creep in at times. No matter how much you try to avoid it, some element of debating can creep in at times. But when you talk about an essay writing task, here you are writing all on your own. A mature candidate, a thoughtful candidate would always be expected to look at all perspectives, all the important issues which are related to a particular topic. Hence, in an essay, it might be a good idea to cover all sides of an issue, not just any one particular side. Even if you wish to say that one side is more important than the other, it would be very good if you can at least mention some of the important aspects, some of the important issues which negate a topic. For example, if you wish to support the topic on a particular issue, if you want to take a positive stand on an issue, even then it may be good to look at some of the negatives. It may be even if you wish to focus on the pros, even if you want to say that the benefits of a particular issue are greater, fine. You can still at least look at some of the negatives, some of the cons that are there. You don't ignore that aspect. So, even if you wish to take a stand, it may be good in an essay to look at some of the negatives, some of the opposite sides of the issue, some of the other aspects of the issue. And if you wish to simply look at all the issues and then say that both sides are equally important, neither aspect can be ignored, there is no harm in that. There is no harm in that either. So,
I think which is what the most important thing which you need to remember for WAC is what Rahul just said, look at both aspects. Remember, it's an essay you are writing. Essay, even if you have to come to a conclusion in any case, it is important that you look at all aspects of the issue, look at all the positive as well as the negative aspects, and the negative and positive implications, and then go along with that. For example, if here a strong opposition party is required for good governance, you may say yes, it is required, but can you look at the other things also? What would happen if it is not there? So I think it is to begin with, I would want you to have a balanced approach. I don't want you to jump to conclusions. Have a balanced approach, and then you come to a conclusion. So please, I would say, don't start with the conclusion. Look at all aspects, and then come out with your conclusion. And as Rahul said, I would not be very unhappy if you come out and say, okay, but on the whole, I think it's a very balanced thing. I'm okay with that. But my personal preference always has been to say, okay, so where do you stand? And that is completely my personal preference. And as an individual, I think on all issues, I need to have a stand. And nothing is 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. But that is my point of view. Many other people will tell you, no, it can be a very balanced thing, and we might need a great amount of debating to find out, okay, which is the approach we should go for. But from my point of view, as an individual, I don't think 50-50 is ever possible. There's nothing like, there's nothing which is always evenly balanced on both sides. You have to take a call. As a person, as a business person, in real life, you will always have to take a call. Even if it is 50-50, you will probably still need to take a call. But as I said, that's my approach. And I would not be unhappy if you come out with a completely balancing and saying, I'm not sure if I can be taking a call. The other thing which you need to look at is, Ahmedabad has a 1 minute to think plus 10 minutes of writing. Okay? So thinking, they have given 1 minute and 10 minutes of writing. Bangalore gave 10 minutes to think and 20 minutes to write. Now, obviously, when I am looking at between the two, I think the Bangalore essay needs to be much more powerful. You have 10 minutes to think and 20 minutes to write. You have a half an hour available with you. While out here, you have very little. In Ahmedabad, you had very little time to think. So structurally speaking, I would want Bangalore essay to be much more powerful, much more. I think it has to be structured much better. This has to be better structured. This can still be a little haphazard. The Ahmedabad essay, because 1 minute to think, 10 minutes to write, is not giving you too much time to structure your thoughts. But when it comes to Bangalore, a poorly structured thought process is going to reflect very negatively on you, because time was not an issue out here. Okay? Rahul, I think if you can just take it from here, and while we have done a WAT session, if you could very briefly tell them how to write an essay, keeping Bangalore in mind, where the thoughts have to be well structured. If you could just take it from here.
Sure, sir. As we were discussing about essays, over here, one of the most important aspects is you have to be able to present your thoughts in an organized manner. You have to be able to present your thoughts in a logical manner. So, while your communication skills, while your writing skills to some extent are important, the most important thing is whether you are able to justify whatever stand you have taken or whatever position you wish to take. So, whichever issue, whichever topic your essay is talking about, in the introduction, you can give a brief background of that particular topic. You can give some examples or some incidents. You can talk about some event, etc., to highlight why that topic is relevant, why that topic is significant. You can also give some kind of hint about the stand that you are going to take. For example, if you are going to take a positive stand, you may say that as all issues, here also there can be many aspects, but this particular idea looks better. Something like this can be said in the introductory paragraph as well. Even that is a possibility. It is not at all necessary, but if you want, you can use that. You can use the introductory paragraph itself to hint at your stance. This often helps to understand the main idea of what you are trying to say. So this can be one approach that you follow. It is not necessary, but this is one possibility. And of course, you should certainly talk about some background to the topic. Why is this topic significant? Why is it relevant for all of us? Then, in the body of your essay, you can then talk about the different aspects, the most important aspects of that particular issue. Here, simply talking about trivial aspects of the issue would not suffice. Particularly, for example, if you talk about an IIM Bangalore essay, here you need to be able to identify which are the top 3 or 4 aspects of the issue. For writing the essay, in both cases, IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore, and for that matter, in most of the other IIMs, even for the IIFT essay writing, for example, you are given an A4 size sheet, and you are asked to write your essay on one side of that sheet alone. So the amount of space available to you is limited. So you need to be able to decide which are the important aspects of the issue, which are the most important aspects of the issue. And generally, if you can look at the positive side, the negative side, the pros and the cons as well, then that will become very useful for you. That will be a very good approach for the issue. So before writing the body of the issue, be very clear about the 4 or 5, I would say, most important aspects of that issue. Some of which can be looking at the issue in the positive sense. Some of which can be looking at the opposite view as well. So you have to be able to analyze the issue from all perspectives. At the same time, since in an essay you are going to write about, you have a limited space to write, limited time to write, hence you have to present the most important aspects only. This becomes very important here. Then, in the conclusion, the conclusion, please note, has to be justified by what all you have written in the body of your essay. In the essay, let's say, in the body of the essay, let's say you have written far more points which are positive, which are supporting the issue. In that case, if my conclusion is relatively neutral or negative, then the conclusion would simply be hanging over there. It would not appear to be justified by the body of the essay, by all those points which I have mentioned in the body of the essay. So the conclusion really has to follow from the body of the essay, from the points that you have mentioned in the body. If you have presented lots of points which support the issue, then the conclusion has to be in favor of the issue. Similarly, if you have presented lots of negatives about a particular issue, then your conclusion has to be against the issue. So ensure, please, that the conclusion is justified by whatever you have mentioned in the body of the essay. That becomes very important. This is it as far as the essays are concerned. So
yeah, thank you, Rahul. I think that would have taken care of the doubts, but okay, couple of questions. How many words are allowed in WAT? As Rahul said, it's about the A4 size sheet, and my gut feel is you are unlikely to be able to write more than 250 odd words, maybe 300 is the max you will go to. So from a word point of view, maybe 200 to 300 is all that is there. Shashank has a question, I don't get it. There are only 2 aspects, positive or negative. Shashank, for positive aspect also, there will be different things which you will be able to say. For example, for good governance, opposition is necessary. Well, you can say there will be yes or no, but to support the contention that for good governance, opposition is necessary, you will probably have 3 or 4 different reasons. So that is what we mean by different aspects. You look at from different points of view, okay, from this point of view, this is required. From this point of view, this is required or not required. So let me put this way, when we talk about look at from different aspects, like we are saying what are the various reasons for which it has to be there, opposition has to be there, and what are the differences for which if opposition is not there, it will not matter. Okay. just long. Pinaki, choice is not given. We are typically given one topic only, and everyone has to write on that topic. Okay. Pinaki, a question on do we have choice on what topic to write an essay on? Typically, one topic is given to everyone. There is a question from Mohammed Hidayatullah. Mohammed Hidayatullah, please make sure you use your name well in the interview. I'm sure the name Hidayatullah, you can use it very well. Okay. I discontinued my MTech degree after one semester and I took up a job at PHDL. I think you can forget about the incompleted degree. I don't think it is not. I don't think it's very important. But if you have already filled it incomplete in the platform, that is fine. In any case, you are working now, so your focus has to be on your work. Okay. Should body be a single para or can it be 2 to 3 paras? It can be a couple of paras. Okay. 2 to 3 paras is not an issue, but obviously when you have only one page available to you, one side of a page available to you, you will not have too much space. So, but still couple of paras which you can fit in is not an issue as far as I am concerned. While writing essay, do we underline the keyword? Yes, you can if you want, not necessarily. It's entirely up to you. What is the conversion rate for INA ABM? Approval. INA typically gives the call, the teach to call ratio is about 1:3. So you can say the conversion rate is 33%. Okay. Let's go back. Rahul, from here possibly we need to get Siddharth and Vivek into the picture, and maybe they could share their experiences on their interviews, their processes, and anything else they would like to highlight with respect to their specific institutes. If you can get Siddharth and Vivek into the picture now.
Okay, sure, sir. I would now like to invite Mr. Siddharth Priya to introduce himself to the students and to share his experiences with the students.
Okay, thanks Rahul. Good evening to everybody. And hi Gautam also. Good to hear you second time. Okay, regarding my experiences, before I went for the IMA interview, it was the year 2007. I was working with Hindustan Petroleum. So after my IIT, which I completed in 2004, I took up a job in Tata Steel. I stayed for 6 months, then went on to stay at HPCL. My interview of IMA was there at Bangalore. There is a hotel at MG Road, and it was a bit hot and humid. And in 2007, we had GDs, and on the same day, the interview was there. My GD panel, there were around 10 to 11 people, and it went nicely. Since the process has been changed, I'll concentrate more on the interview portion. So, parallelly, there were 3 interview panels going on. In my interview panel, there were 3 people. And one of the professors, name I still remember, because he took one of my classes at IMA, Professor Diptesh Ghosh, an operations person. So, as it was already quite evident by the CL slides, since I had, when I applied for the interview, almost 34 months of work experience, 60% of my questions were asked from my HPCL experience, and few questions also from my electrical engineering stream, because I'm an electrical engineer from IIT Kharagpur. Apart from that, few questions from my interest, and the interview went on pretty well. Okay, in almost when 60% of the interview was over, Professor Diptesh Ghosh suddenly rose up. I don't know whether that was intentional or unintentional. And he started walking, and the backdrop he was smoking and pacing quite fast. So I don't know, it may have been a strategy to make the interview a bit stressful. but I can't say for sure. But I maintained my composure, and interview went on pretty well. Fortunately, I had a call from all IIMs, so I could clear all of them. Anything else? Yeah, that's from my side.
Siddharth, just a couple of questions. What kinds of questions were you asked from electrical engineering? If you can just go back and recollect a few of them.
Okay, electrical engineering, electrical machines I still remember, and few of the things from network theory, so Kirchhoff's law, etc. So these two things I remember quite vividly, because electric machines is one of my favorite subjects. So though I don't remember whether I specifically mentioned in my interview, but it would have come up while I would have been mentioning, let's say, my introduction during the introduction process.
Okay, continuing from where what you just said, that machines is your favorite area, and possibly you mentioned it, though you are not very sure about it. To what extent were you able to at least give hints to the panel that maybe this is the area they need to get into? Do you think you were able to do it by and large?
I think a couple of favorite subjects were asked to me, may not be during the introduction, in between while I was giving this interview, and that's when I mentioned electric machines. Because one of the professors who took my courses, I had shown keen interest, and that was one of the course I still remember even after 8-9 years of completing the course.
And what kind of questions were asked from which part of HPCL were you working in, Siddharth?
Okay, so I spent with HPCL 2 years in the projects and pipeline division.
Okay, projects and pipeline.
Yeah, so I was part of, in Delhi I spent almost a year. There is this Muna Delhi project, and I was part of the purchase team. So few things, and it's a 1500 crore project. And I was doing a lot of purchasing, a lot of documents review, etc., etc. So things were quite extensively asked on that. So how's the project status and all that. The second assignment I had with HPCL was in Visakhapatnam, from where I gave my CAT examination. So on operations, like throughput, how much is there? I was Visakhapatnam, from where the pumping happens of the petroleum products. And it goes till Secunderabad is the end point. So the pumping parameters, kind of products which are being pumped, and few specific questions regarding those products. So high-speed diesel, SKO, kerosene, and etc. ATF, aviation turbine fuel.
Siddharth, what do you think was the focus of these questions for future pertaining to HPCL? What were they trying to gauge by these questions?
Okay, they are trying to gauge whether I have actually worked intensively and tried to get an understanding of things which I'm involved in, or I've just been spending time there. Okay. So the objective I could perceive was more in terms of trying to understand. I was deeply involved in the activities, and to what depth I could gather, let's say, knowledge from my involvement in different roles.
Okay, so depth of knowledge of your area of work.
Yes.
Were you also asked questions which you were not working in directly, being an electrical engineer based in Visakhapatnam, HPCL has a refinery in Visakhapatnam also?
Yes, that's the oldest one. Second, yeah.
So did they ask you questions pertaining to the refinery with which you were not directly connected?
General definitions like what is upstream, what is downstream kind of companies, these 2-3 questions, but not too many of them.
Not too many of them. Most of the questions are pertaining to what you are actually doing. Whether it was pertaining to projects and pipeline, the purchase part, or the pumping part, and so, but directly whatever you were involved with, that was what was being asked.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And one, please.
Yeah, please. No, please continue to that.
And if I remember correctly, so specific maths question was asked. But I have, you can say, 60 or 70% clarity. But I think a math question specifically was asked from me.
Okay.
Which area I do not recollect because it has been almost 4 or 5 years.
Right. What about your interest area? What was asked in your interest area?
Interest area, because I was, I think one or two questions, and I was a martial artist, so I had been practicing martial art till that time. So one or two questions, but not too much trust.
Not too much, sir.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a discussion with your batchmates as to how much of, let me say, questions from interest areas are asked in Ahmedabad? Was it by and large your kind of interviews, some bit of academics and some bit of work?
One person I recollect, she was from medical. So like generally what happens traditionally, India people will have engineering and then MBA. This girl was a doctor, AIMS. So she had a very, you can say, very light interview in a lot of areas from her interests were asked. If I remember, yeah, Shashvi was the name of the girl. So I think, but by and large, the people were asked things related to, let's say, either their academic area, if they didn't have much work experience, or if they had work experience from their work experience areas. So by and large, 80-90% that were the cases.
Because that is what even my experience has been whenever I talk to students. We find that Ahmedabad typically will focus on work experience and on academics. And it is very, very rarely they go out of these two. Occasionally they will ask questions on the interest or the current affairs or general knowledge, but by and large this is the defining parameter as far as I am Ahmedabad is concerned. Is that correct?
Yeah, because I can do some comparison from IMD also, though I don't know whether I should bring it at this stage.
No, we will come back to IMD in any case.
Sure.
Yeah. But as far as Ahmedabad is concerned, this is where we should be looking at. Okay.
Mostly what is work profile.
Yeah, let me just see if there are any specific questions out here which are connected to Ahmedabad. Okay, those of you asking for conversion rate of Ahmedabad, Bangalore or whatever, the conversion rate is about 1 in 3. Both Ahmedabad and Bangalore typically send about calls which are roughly 3 times the number of teams. Okay, so that should be an issue. Okay. No specific questions out here. So let us start with the Bangalore part. This was Ahmedabad. Vivek, did you also have a call from Ahmedabad?
Yes, GP, I do had.
Okay, great.
And
if you could also share your experience of Ahmedabad.
sure, and actually taking cue from Siddharth. So I actually went for my CAT and my course after 2 years of work experience. And those days there were only 6 IIMs, not 13, when back in 2001. And sadly, should I say, even after 2 years of experience, no other IIM asked me any academic question other than IIM Ahmedabad. And they really made me very desperate and, so should I say, very, very sad. Because I was actually working for 2 years very, very thoroughly with Coca-Cola India. And Ahmedabad people kept on asking me hardcore academic questions. And I kept on shaking my head in no. Had my head down, and it was really a very, very bad 15 minutes, let me remember that, GP. So Ahmedabad is definitely very, very particular about academics. Eventually, actually, I have to tell them, boss, I am working for 2 years, I don't remember anything. But how come you forget your engineering, you 4 years in 2 years? And I told them that, I'm in plant management, you asked me questions regarding my work. They kept on bothering me, they kept on, should I say, stressing me or really torturing me? Is the right one which you just wrote. And I can clearly say, as you just mentioned also some time back, that they are a little finished about academics. So even after somebody told them 5 years ago, 5 years of experience, they will not leave to ask some hardcore theoretical questions.
Yeah, that's right, Vivek, and that has always been my experience, that Ahmedabad will ensure few questions of academics are asked, even if you have a few years of work experience. Definitely the fundamentals of whatever you have studied is something they don't want you to compromise upon. Just continuing with this, let us go to a aspect topic for you. Let us talk about your IIM Bangalore experience.
Yeah, it was great, GP. I just mentioned, after my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering in Mechanical, I joined Coca-Cola, as a choice, leaving IT companies in production only. So that was something which was, close to my heart, and I was doing that very well. And that actually helped me a lot in my IIM Bangalore interview. It was held in actually Delhi Indian Habitat Center. I remember two profs, one of them was actually Dean, which I found out later when I went to IMB, Professor RTK, and other, I don't remember the name. I still remember the GD topic very clearly. During those days, if you remember, Arundhati Roy, a famous writer, has got a one-day jail because she protested on the streets, I think outside Parliament. So the topic that we got was, is Indian judiciary system is too sensitive to criticism? Basically, she criticized something to judiciary and she was sent to jail for one day. So what brings this to my notice is, all the GD topics as we always discuss are definitely very current. So for all the candidates, it's very important to be abreast of the last 3-4 months happening, both national and international. And if you remember, all the neighbors got same kind of topic. And now during this topic also, I still remember that funny incidents. So those days the GD was about 15 to 20 minutes. Now with this topic, everybody remembered Arundhati Roy example. So, and with coaching from Karim Mansur and all that, everybody was trying to speak. But everybody has only one example. After about 7 minutes, Professor RT actually stood up and said, guys, come on, think something else beyond Arundhati Roy. Because the topic was so specific, and everybody just remembered that one incident. So, I think the learning from that funny thing is, one thing is to know about the topic, one thing is to know about what has happened recently, and the second thing is to prepare about that, to go a little deep about that. So I think the learning part from that incident was, next time when you are going for such a thing, so that everybody knew that Arundhati Roy got that jail, but why? What are the inventions behind that? Are there any other examples around that? So I think the learning from that incident was, if we guys notice any current topic, we need to go a little deep into that, need to broaden our horizon of learning around that particular topic or issue. And I think that's what a good B-School looks in any future candidate, that how much deep and wide you can go in a particular topic rather than have a superficial knowledge. So maybe that was the start of IIM Bangalore learning and journey. As far as interview was concerned, sorry.
Just a second, Vivek. In fact, I just wanted to make a point. Please look at the GD topic. It is completely correct. This is the kind of topic you can expect even for back. And again, what Vivek said is extremely important. If this was your bad topic and all you were stuck up with was Arundhati Roy, then obviously it is not going to be a good essay. You need to look at different aspects of this issue, look at different examples possible, and then take it forward. So when you are preparing, please make sure whatever topics you are preparing for, look at different aspects, the positive and the negative and all possible areas, and see how to take it forward. Vivek, let's go to your interview. If you could just share how your interview went.
Yeah, so GP, because I was still able to do pretty better in GD, so my interview was pretty smooth, if I remember. It was 0 academic questions, so I was very happy. I was never a good engineer anyway, and I still got 65% in my DCE. So there was not a single academic question. It was all related to my experience in Coca-Cola, along with my few extracurricular activities, few interests and hobbies that I have mentioned in my SOP. As I was very sure about my experience in Coca-Cola, as a human being, we were just discussing some time back again, I had pretty good hang of FMCG industry and our competitors and how Coca-Cola acquired Thums Up brand in 1995. So all those knowledge really helped me a lot in convincing them that I know about my FMCG and about my product very, very well. Though I was from engineering background, Actually, Coca-Cola program also helped me a lot because they give you exposure in sales, finance, HR also when you join them. I remember that because I have taken that exposure also with a lot of interest, and it helped me a lot for sure because I was able to be very convincing. I had done a couple of projects and I took a pain to highlight them. You know, people ask, okay, what is your special point or your special occasion when you were working with Coca-Cola? So I distinctly remembered a couple of projects which I mentioned, and those were really thoughtful, insightful projects. So a lot of discussion was happening around those projects. So it was pretty clear because
Vivek, the project which you took up while you were in Coke.
Yes, in Coca-Cola. So actually, one project was very specific. I don't know if that will interest people. So generally, bottling lines are very fast, and we produce 600 bottles per minute. Now, actually, after 1 year of my training, I joined plant in Guwahati, and I got a plant which is 400 BPM, 400 bottles per minute. Now, whatever good we do, just because of small size of the plant, we were never number one in plant efficiency across India. Just because there were some other efficiencies which we can never get with a 600 BPM plant. For example, steam efficiency or electricity efficiency and all that. So actually I fought very hard and introduced a correction factor for smaller plants in efficiency. So, all the efficiency would be multiplied by 1.1 or 1.2 based on the size of my plant. So that I get a fair field or a fair field to compete with the 600 BPM plant for the quarterly award of best plant. See, very sadly it is not that I did everything, but I was at least able to present that I did everything. And because as I said, I knew in and out about that project and many other projects. So I was able to convince everybody that, this was the project I definitely presented with a lot of passion the way I'm speaking right now. It was surely a passionate thing, a passionate change to bring. Though I was a part of that, but I think I was able to present that to panel with a lot of passion, and definitely that might have impressed them a lot also, looking at my passion for the work that I have done before and the future that I want to be part of after I am Bangalore.
Just a couple of questions, in fact, or rather maybe a comment only, not a question. In fact, I have seen this very, very specifically with respect to I am Bangalore, and this might be useful for those of you in Bangalore who are, Bangalore somehow does not seem to be very, very worried about academics. Possibly, I am Bangalore interviews are the most open ones. I know there are exceptions which are not so open and will go purely to acad, but by and large, I am Bangalore will allow you to take the interview to your area of interest. And if you notice in case of Vivek, Coke, FMCG industry, I'm sure they ask questions about Pepsi also. Vivek, is that right?
Yes, for sure. I was doing things like market share of Pepsi India worldwide.
So it was the knowledge of the business as a whole, and this is what I find interesting about IIM Bangalore. They don't focus on only an area. If you look at Vivek's IIM Bangalore, IIM Ahmedabad interview, the questions which were asked were by and large pertaining to the work he does, work he did, by and large his area. Here in case of Bangalore, Vivek is being asked questions not only on what he does in his work, what is his area, but he's also being asked about the market share, about the industry as a whole. Now those of you who are preparing for IIM Bangalore, please remember this is extremely important for you. You don't look at those of you who are working, don't restrict yourself only to your role. IIM Bangalore expects you to go deeper, it expects you to have a wider knowledge of all areas which are pertaining to business. They don't want the jobs, they are normally not looking for specialists in an area, they are looking for a generalist, someone who has the mobility to move across areas. Okay? So please make sure that you do that. Vivek, anything else which you remember, which you think is interesting about, or which students should take care of or remember when they go, while they are preparing?
I think not deeply from that particular year, but if you allow me, looking at what trend they have started last year, the trend that they started last year is actually taking the same thing to next level. So I think they are the first B school who have started inviting alumni for the interview.
Vivek, just to correct you, Calcutta has been doing it for quite some time actually.
Okay, sorry then.
When I was preparing for CAT. So I am Calcutta as the pioneer, but yes, by and large other institutes have not followed it.
Correct. So basically, I got the invitation last year, so I remember. But though I was not eligible because they were looking for more than 10 years of post MBA experience. But see, the point is, and I was just going through the slides also, which.
On the lighter note, Vivek, I also got the invite. I did not apply because while I was eligible, I know they would not take me. But
Rahul was presenting a slide and there was a very interesting point, and because you were just mentioning very cohesively, GP, is about their holistic approach towards life. See, few questions that they were asking in the last year was about your hometown. And I think that is what IIM Bangalore believes in really thoroughly, because what they believe is that learning also comes from your hometown. Learning also comes from your surrounding. So, especially with the addition of your alumnus with more than 10 years of corporate experience or working in corporate, what kind of people those would be. So last year we can see that trend actually moving strongly towards this trend, where rather than focusing on bookish academic people, they are trying to get still smart people. If I am able to interpret it correctly. If they are actually asking questions regarding your hometown and what you like and what are the major cities in your state, they are actually trying to figure out how aware you are about world, how aware you are about life. Because MBA or B school is not only theory, it's about holistic approach to business and environment. So I think addition of alumni asking these questions last year actually gives a very definite signal that they are definitely looking for people with far bigger and far deeper horizon than a very, very specific focus.
Great. Thank you, Vivek. Let me just get picture. Siddharth, Vivek, you can keep pitching in whenever you feel like. But
sure.
Share your IIM Bangalore experience.
Okay, my IMB is 2 hours before IMA. So GD, I won't share. That's a very interesting story about that. I'll come to that. Yeah. So IMB, my questions were mainly in 2 areas. My work experience, which I'll say constituted around 20% to 25% of questions, and the rest of it, 80 to 75%, was on my interest area, hobbies. Yes, so there was this classroom, and I still remember who were the 2 panelists. One was both were escaped from Ahmedabad.
Right.
One was around 35-year-old, another was around 55-year-old.
Right.
And when they came to know I know martial arts, they told, okay, show us some kata. So they made me stand around in the middle of the classroom and then told, okay, show us the kata. So Pasada is a black belt kata, so I did that. And then the slight criticism was put by this older person. But I tried to explain, no, all these are not fake movements and all that. But I did give some explanation. And then he asked me, which all AMS have you got call from? So I told AB all AMS have got call. So he told, if you offer you, will you join us? I told, yeah, of course I'll join you. So 2-3 years ago, when I finally...
Did they ask you which one would you join, A or B?
Yeah, I was specifically I was asked, I told them join me. So 2-3 years ago, Professor Pankaj Chandra was my professor at IMA, so I went to meet him also. So I went to meet this specific professor. So I told him, sir, my mistake. I didn't join IMA, so he asked which IMA did you join. So I told him IMA. That was a very interesting experience.
So between when you compare your Ahmedabad and Bangalore interviews, one thing which is very, very stark, I am saying very, very strongly visible, no electrical engineering here. Is that right?
Yeah, no electrical engineering, yes. That I am not quite sure.
Right. No electrical engineering, and secondly, which is coming out, the maximum amount is actually your interest
Yes.
in martial arts. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what I was commenting when Vivek was sharing his experience, that somehow IIM Bangalore allows people to take the interview wherever you want to. While Ahmedabad, and to a basic extent Indore also, tends to have a kind of a structured place. Bangalore seems to be completely organic. You can shape it the way you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything specifically which you remember from the interview, or anything else which you would like to share for the students, or to the ones who are preparing for this year?
No, it was not stressful at all. Yeah, Bangalore, it was not stressful at all. My interview was at IIM Bangalore campus only. First floor, there is this classroom.
Yeah.
It was quite nice. So we were smiling, sometimes also we had laughs. Yeah.
That was when all got up and started walking.
I mean, that was, they asked a lot of questions on the academics, night stress they tried to build.
Great. Let me see if there are any specific questions. I can't see anything in the chat box. Okay, there's a question from Saurav Gupta, and maybe both you and Vivek could answer it. If asked about which IIM would you join, ABC, is it better to be truthful or to answer in favor of that particular institute? Yeah, Vivek. I know you gave us the answer of B when you joined A, but what would you say out here?
So DPI was actually asked in my Lucknow interview, and I was very honest. I said, sir, ABCL. So that's my order of preference, because that is what he said. Why? I said, sir, I don't know. This is what it is popular across the world. So my preference is very simple. It's also alphabetical order by chance, ABCL at that time, and so that would be my order of preference. So I was like,
did you get a
I got DP, I got from BCL. I said, other than A, which was a very torturous interview, because no other IIM asked me about my academics, I was pretty fine.
Right. But in Lucknow, you said very clearly, my order of preference is A, B, C, and despite that, Lucknow selected you.
Precisely. Okay. Yes. They did that.
No, Siddharth has already given his answer, so that's okay. Let's see if there's any other question. Vivek and Siddharth, for both of you, any specific thing you would like the students to do in the next few days while they are preparing? Your tips, your last minute tips to the students.
See, as I said before, I think the first thing should be for the last 4 or 3 months, just browse through all the hot and happening topics that have happened, and make sure you have a opinion and a depth knowledge about them. Because as I said, especially now with WAT in picture, you need to write something. In a GD of 10 people, sometimes if you don't know the content, you can still avoid. Because there were so many people, and everybody was repeating the example. But now I think that will not be the case. So make sure that for the last 2 or 3 months, 4 months, whatever has happened. And this is the good part, like CAT, which is a written paper, GD topics, and so those people can make a topic the same morning also. So I would say that till last night, if any big current affair is happening, make sure to know about them very thoroughly and have a deep understanding about that.
Right. Basically, in the last couple of days, something big has happened. You better know about it actually.
Precisely.
Right.
The second thing is, you also mentioned, if you want to work as guy, be very sure about not only your role in company, but a larger world. And though I missed myself in academics, because even IIM Ahmedabad gave me a lot of chance. He said, okay, pick up one subject and we'll ask only questions from that. And I was failing in that also. So the point is, at least prepare one subject very, very thoroughly. So let's say if you're a mechanical engineer, you picked up fluid mechanics or you picked thermodynamics. But then you should be very, very sure about that, especially for Ahmedabad.
Okay.
In my opinion. So it's not that
I think that
you need
something which did not come earlier, but I think from a student's perspective, it's extremely important. You're saying, IIM Ahmedabad asks you, tell us at least one subject from which we can ask you questions, and you fail to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the assumption is, had you been able to give them a subject and answered a few questions, you had a chance in that institute. Because because you have almost zero in academics, you did not have a chance.
Yes. Very honestly, see, I was totally in my job. I have forgotten, and then because if you tell them about a particular subject, in that subject they will go very deep.
Right.
And I'm sure that nobody can answer all the engineering questions. So I don't remember, maybe Siddharth have different points, but generally when somebody asks academic questions, they give you, couple of subjects or couple of broader topics to choose from. Okay, let us ask you questions from, fluid mechanics or from thermodynamics or something like that.
I just mentioned that somewhere probably it slipped out that his favorite area was machine, and that the question. Whether they asked or they came out that was not clear. But yes, that at least one subject is extremely important from an Ahmedabad perspective. Those of you who are working, focus on not only your role, but also on the company and the industry, including your competitors. Okay? So current affairs, at least 1 to 2 subjects. I put 2 from my side because I think if there are 2 subjects you have a better chance of getting to. And the third thing we are saying is focus on your working, not only your role, but the company which you are working in as well as the industry. Thank you, Vivek. And Siddharth, anything specifically you would like to give all the students to prepare or to focus on for the next couple of weeks?
More or less what Vivek has told. One specific thing which I would like to mention, not my experience but that of a colleague of mine at IMA. Right. He was a pass out from IIT Bombay, but he has a quite low CGPA, but quite an engineer fellow, I'll say.
Just a minute, you said his CGPA was very low.
Yes, around 5 or 5.5. So
but he had good knowledge of engineering.
Yes, so in the interview itself, one question he mentioned also to us. One question was asked to him, and he quite hung up to the answer. But while interview was getting concluded, he himself could analyze the mistake and told the interview panel that he made a mistake, and this should be the right answer.
Wow.
And I think that had a lot of positive impression on the interview panel.
So by the end of the interview, we realized what is the mistake he committed in the earlier part of the interview, and told the interview panel that this would be the correct answer. What I said earlier was incorrect.
Yes.
And Vivek, Siddharth, one question to you: how many people in your batch had low CGPA or low marks in academics?
Low marks in academics.
I would believe hardly anyone.
Yeah, hardly anyone. Maybe the 4-5% or so, such sets of people.
Yeah, that again is something which I just want to highlight for the students, that by and large academics is extremely important for Ahmedabad. They strongly believe that if you are studying for something for 4 years, whether you like it or not, you just need to know it. If you have spent your time, you better do it well, or you don't spend your time doing that thing. And which is why there's very, very rarely you will find people with low CGPA. Now the current pattern in any case, you will not get people with 5 CGPA getting IIM Ahmedabad call. But even earlier, you would find very few people who were not achievers in academics to be into IIM Ahmedabad. And this person said, I would definitely say the exception 5.5, 6 CGPA. You rarely find them in Ahmedabad. You will find most of them in Bangalore and Calcutta, but Ahmedabad is really an exception. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Thad. Let me just quickly see if there are any other questions. Okay, there's one question. Can sessions also say that follow with only 2 subjects? Yes, Harsha, you can also say. Session also can say we have follow with only 2 subjects. But as I said earlier also, please make sure you go through your project internships also. That will be very, very useful. BTech in aerospace, now okay. BTech in aerospace and work experience in IT for 2 years. Will they focus on working or aerospace? What would you say?
which were, I'll say, I had even though 34 months of work experience in Tata and Hindustan Petroleum combined, I was still asked specific questions in academics, so can't skip.
That's right. Siddharth, I am in complete agreement with, okay, so this is Siddharth Doshi. Okay, Siddharth Doshi, I am completely agree with Siddharth that as Ahmedabad, please don't compromise on your academics. Please go through your books again. Please go through your projects and internships. Please go through your fundamentals. You cannot afford not to know your academics. 2 years work experience, Siddharth had almost 3 years work experience. Yet his work interviews comprised almost 2/3 with the academics. Great. So I think that's the last question. Rahul, anything you would like to add? Siddharth or Vivek, any one of you would like to add? Anything?
No, thank you, sir.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Siddharth and Vivek. Rahul, thank you for answering the session from there. Since there are no more questions, we are closing the session. Hope we have been able to take care of your doubts and hopefully this will help you prepare sufficiently well for the interview. This session will be uploaded on your SIS in any case. So career students, please, you can go through the session all over again. When you log into your SIS, the session should be available by tomorrow evening. Just one quick word. Ahmedabad, please don't compromise on your academics. Bangalore, please make sure you know more than your work. You know your industry, they're looking for business people. Ahmedabad is looking for achievers or people who have in-depth knowledge in whatever they have done. So there's the two broad parameters you have to look at when you're looking at these institutes. Write-ups, please make sure whatever essay you write, you are able to, you do get it checked with your faculty first before finalizing it. Secondly, please do take these essays when you come for mock interviews with us so that we can quiz you on those essays also. Okay. Thank you very much. All the best. I'll be closing the session in a few minutes now. Thank you very much. Well, what if they don't know too much about chemical engineering, because I thought that Shashank, please don't worry, they will know about chemical engineering. I am a chemical engineer and I can show you hordes of chemical engineers who are either pleasantly or unpleasantly surprised when the panel starts asking them in-depth questions of chemical engineering. So please don't think that the panel would not know about your subject. They would know about your subject in and out. Okay, anything else? Between L and ABC, it's a very obvious choice. Shashank is asking. Shashank, please remember what Vivek said. Vivek told Lucknow very clearly, my priority is ABCL. Okay. And he said very clearly, it's my priority is ABCL. And he said, I don't know the exact parameters, but this is the way the world rates them, or this is the way they are perceived to be, and that is the way I will go with. Okay. So just go ahead. Don't worry too much about it. Okay. And I think I've answered the question also. Nothing else is left. Let me just go through it once more. Okay. Great. Thank you very much.